Welcome, everybody, live inside Pauley Pavilion, UCLA taking down Nebraska. Yes, live inside the Pavilion, UCLA is taking down the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Yes, and Zach Anderson, the Oxheimer. The Bruins kick some absolute Nebraska Cornhusker butts. Welcome, everybody. Let's talk about it in a second.
You are Locked On UCLA, your daily podcast on the UCLA Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, it's Zach Anderson, the Oxheimer, live from Pauley. The Bruins in the final 5 seconds are going to win it against the Cornhuskers. Take a look. Well, the Bruins, if you can hear me, dominate this one by 20 against the Cornhuskers. Last minute trip for me here to Pauley Pavilion from start to finish. UCLA dominates Nebraska. It was an utterly dominant performance because, man, UCLA was spectacular. It's one of those performances where I kind of want to put them in my Final Four bracket. Am I dumb enough to do that? Well, we'll see if UCLA is going to play this way in March. But the home crowd, the students were absolutely dominant. And overall, UCLA played pretty spectacular defense. Nebraska was ice cold from three. It didn't require any dominant individual efforts tonight. It wasn't a Donovan Dent show. It wasn't a Tyler Bilodeau show. It was the fact that UCLA was solid from start to finish. So we'll see. Never really done the live stream live from Pauley, so hopefully y'all can hear me at home. In the meantime, take a look for the Bruins. Take a look. See Nebraska leaving. Ooh, wow, that was utter dominance. If UCLA can play like this consistently, I mean consistently, they will be a team to be reckoned with in March Madness, in the tournament. But if not, then we'll see what happens. Because, man, this is the type of performance that if they played consistently all year long, this would be the type of team that UCLA could be a top 10 team if they played as consistently as they did mostly for a full 40 minutes. But Nebraska, they had an ice cold game. Late tip, the crowd was there. I'm not sure what it was, but it felt super energetic, super loud from the student section. And it was fun to see everybody involved from the women's basketball team and the cheer squad for anything and everything for UCLA. Man, it was utterly craziness. Goodness gracious. So, for UCLA, what stuck out to me? UCLA, they were pretty good offensively early. They came to play. This wasn't one of those sloppy games. This wasn't one of those games where they were struggling offensively to get the job done. For the Bruins, it was Trent Perry scoring a lot of points. It was Eric Freeney making the hustle plays. Sky Clark in the first half, spectacular. Xavier Booker coming through and scoring the 3-ball, 8 points, 3 of 3 shooting. So it was solid for UCLA today in this dominant performance. Nebraska, it was kind of tough to see that, man, they were a team that didn't look like a top 10 team, but they played some sound basketball. They were not that good from three today. And overall, man, spectacular performance. Glad to make it out to Pauley here for senior night on a last-minute effort. But good enough. Yeah, 4's up, baby. 4's up. Spectacular game if you're a UCLA fan. Not only does this extra solidify their chances to the tournament, I think this puts them in the conversation to get to the 8-9 game in the first round. USC is a game where I think UCLA will be favored by 7 to 8 points against in Galen on Saturday night. So for the Bruins, they can put this together, string some wins in the Big Ten tournament. They'll be red hot coming into the NCAA tournament. But that doesn't always factor into the success of teams going deep into the tournament. Man, oh man. Like, great crowd, even with the late night. Glad you're tuning in with me here. It's going to be a long drive back home for me, so had to get this one up. Let me know in the comments when you're watching this, whether it's live later on, what your thoughts about this performance. But it was as complete as can get. There were times, though, for UCLA where it felt like the 16-point lead wasn't the most safe. Nebraska could have stayed in, but goodness gracious. Yeah. I wish the seniors got a little bit more time in this game, but goodness gracious. It was a solid game. Cronin probably didn't believe they were going to hold on to the lead, yet senior night goes out with spectacular, spectacular fashion. I mean, UCLA, goodness gracious. Solid, solid game for the Bruins. 72-52. I don't have the stats in front of me recording this live for this one, but glad to see a big-time dub. I think, you even had Ty Lue in the building. You had Jim Herrick in the building. You had Top Tier. Everybody was here to watch this UCLA team come together and have a spectacular final performance. For whatever reason, UCLA is practically almost unbeatable in games at home. And this year, they finished with an even better record than they did last year at home. The Bruins overall, I forget what their home record is at the moment. But, man, solid, solid performance. And why UCLA can play Jekyll and Hyde sometimes, go to Minnesota, not play as well, come back home, play well. I mean, goodness gracious, what a game. So, for UCLA, well, we'll see what it looks like come the USC game. You win that game, you go red hot to the Big Ten tournament. They could really figure things out. It's one of those things where seeing this live, seeing this in person, it makes me dumb enough to want to put them further in my bracket. It really does. It honestly does want me to put in a tough, a bigger run, a longer run for them in the NCAA tournament. But we'll see. Goodness gracious. We'll see how UCLA finishes, because if they play well, they could get to the 8-9, and with a strong run in the Big Ten tournament, that could turn themselves into an 8-9, maybe a 7 as of this moment. So goodness gracious. I was stunned that UCLA controlled this from start to finish. Nebraska certainly didn't play their best game. Eric Freeney's physicality on defense was impressive. The ability for UCLA to control the game offensively was good. One thing I didn't like was the fact that they just chucked up some threes, didn't really get into the offensive flow when they had a chance to have the killer blow in middle parts of this game, where they could have led by 20 with 10 minutes left. UCLA was on pace to have this game won by 80 plus, not 80, score more than 80 points. But then they really slowed things down, and the Bruins, man, goodness gracious. What a performance with Bruins here on senior night. Spectacular, spectacular, spectacular. Goodness gracious. Oof. Man, let me know your thoughts when you're watching this later. UCLA, utter dominance over the Nebraska Cornhuskers in this one. It was solid for UCLA as a whole. If they can do this, they have hope. They really have hope. If they don't, then it'll be frustrating, and that's why the calls for Mickey Cronin's job only get louder for a team that has showcased so much potential. Beating Purdue almost at the buzzer, beating Illinois at the buzzer, and then you bring in a top-ranked Nebraska team who is at their best, played with some of the best teams in the Big Ten in the country. UCLA led start to finish. Spectacular basketball. At this point, I'm just a broken record going again and again and again. So I hope you guys enjoy this one at home. I'm going to get myself back home. It was a fun game to watch live. But goodness gracious, glad you guys are enjoying this one. We'll talk more a little bit later, a little more stats, a little bit more good stuff going on. But the Bruins, good vibes, good vibes. An utterly dominant performance for UCLA start to finish as they crushed Nebraska. In the meantime, Zach Anderson, Yoxheimer, get your hands up. A clap, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. UCLA. UCLA fight by fight. UCLA dominates Nebraska by 20. Zach Anderson, Yoxheimer signing off. Go Bruins live from Pauley Pavilion. We'll talk to you soon.